One time for old times. What do you say we play some football as we are underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy game. Here comes Devin Hester bringing it out. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over in Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. He played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon, and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft of 30 rounds then.
Favre on second down. Looking for Johnson, and it's intercepted. Picked up by an 8-time Pro Bowler, Steve Atwater. Not something you see very often from a quarterback of his caliber, an opening drive interception.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that even he's surprised at how that one played out. But we know this guy is not going to stop him from continuing to fire as this game goes along. Probably give a little nod of respect across the field for that one, and let him know he'll be back the very next series.
So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in a conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Here's Brady to throw. He's got Allen. And he's going to be stopped here at the 43, and that is not near enough to pick up the first. On is the Hall of Famer Ray Guy to punt this away on 4th down. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. With the NFC offense coming out here, and you know, Charles, Coach Madden always said that if he had one drive to win a game, then he had to pick a quarterback, he would pick Kenny Stabler. But I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select would be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game. And if it's a game, you should have fun.
And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling the coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game.
And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. Off the play fake, here's Farr. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And I think the AFC came up with that. They did. AFC football. And give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice to such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big hit resulted for his guys.
Well, you want to give credit to the defense there, right?
Do I ever?
Fields it right around the goal line. And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. And job one here, Charles, just keep possession of the football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right, Doctor. Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. And right now, they're harming themselves on offense.
I like that. No one is mistaking me for a doctor, though. But thank you, Dr. Davis. 1st and 10, it's Farr. And Sanders has got it complete. And he is across midfield from 149 to the other 49. A gain of just 2. Throwing is Farr. He's got it at the 15. Touchdown. Randy Moss, 49 yards. And the NFC just an extra point away from tying up this game.
As a fan, is there anything prettier than a well-executed post route?
No, it's a thing of beauty, especially when it's done like that for a touchdown.
The throw, the catch, and how about the run after to get it to the end zone?
Morton Anderson now for the extra point. It's up and good. So these teams match touchdowns here in the first quarter, and we're tied 7-7. So a 75-yard scoring drive on just 3 plays. And it's finished off by an NFC touchdown. So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. They're going to take this up close to the 40, so really good starting field position. The AFC making their way out, and it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Tom Brady is a guy who's always looking downfield. He never looks at the rush. He hangs in the pocket, and he makes a throw. He's a cool guy, and he's a tough guy. Let me tell you, there's no one calmer in the pocket than Tom Brady.
And I know that Coach has a great appreciation for Tom Brady, who turned 45 back on August 3rd, because Coach coached a guy like him and George Blanda, who played a long time in the NFL. In this game, it features legends and active players. Tom Brady qualifies as both.
1 quarter complete from the Coliseum in Oakland. 7-7. The AFC with the football here to begin the second quarter, as they've got it with a 2nd and 4 coming up. They keep it on the ground. Allen again. Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st-round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp. Actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles. You and I were talking about this before going on air. And you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles, with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Norm Van Brocklin coached with the Falcons, he coached with the Vikings. And was there during that time. I think Coach Madden realized his love of football, love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
Hey, we want to let you know, give you a fair warning that coming up at halftime, the folks at EA Sports have put together a very nice package in tribute to Coach Madden. So make sure you stick around for that. Again, coming up at halftime. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. 7th play of this drive coming up, and a long way to go on 3rd down. On the toss, here's Allen. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down. The run on 3rd and long, so I guess waving the white flag a little bit.
Yeah, and I think sometimes teams are so committed to running the football that they'll take a chance, even in a long yardage situation, to let them know on the other side, this is what we're going to be about today. In this case, they didn't get a first down. If you're thinking along with them, hey, they might be committed to running it all game long.
So they wind up turning the turnover into points as they convert there for 3.
Yeah, that was a nice job there to force the fumble. They recover, hand things over to their offense, and then the offense went down and got them 3. That alone, that's not enough to win a game, but both units able to do their jobs on these last 2 drives.
The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. A slim deficit here in a 1-possession game. Not much time left, obviously. We'll see if they can march this down the field, at least get 3 and take some momentum into the locker room. A lot of effort there for just a 3-yard gain, and now 2nd down. He was out there waving his arms, and when you got a quarterback out of the pocket looking for any help, I guess waving the arms is helpful.
It certainly is, because you got to get his attention, because now you're in scramble drill. So everyone's adjusting their routes, finding open space, and he found the right spot for the completion. And that's a more than acceptable read right there, because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. They'll throw now on the final play. He's going to float this one deep right side. And that's going to be incomplete. Good. So we're at halftime of the John Madden Legacy game, and now we present a special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by the Raiders' own Trey Mosley. Boy, Charles, that is really well done. Coach was something else, wasn't he?
I'm reminded what Al Davis said when he was inducted coach of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Brandon. He loved the game. He loved his team. He loved the Raiders. He loved this league. And you can see it with everything he does.
No doubt. But it's quite possible, though, that now he would say, hey, enough of that. Let's play some football. Well, the 2nd half forthcoming from Oakland. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. They stay on the ground with Allen. He'll get a yard, that's all, as they get him down at the 28. So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Throwing is Brady on 3rd down. And he cannot get rid of it. The NFC getting in there for the sack. That's the Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor doing what he does best. Here's Ray Guy now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Here's Hester. And when it's said and done, it's a 58-yard punt. And the NFC will take over 1st and 10. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. Well, this game has obviously been all about the defense on both sides of the football. Which offense is going to break through here? We'll see if they can do it on this drive. So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42. He just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember, he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture. Break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people. That way, he was simple to understand, yet insightful for touchdown.
Calvin Johnson, 73 yards. And the NFC is in for 6. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
They'll look to throw. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. Should have been picked. Probably doesn't matter on a 2-point conversion, but still, as a former DB, you want to grab that ball when you can, don't you?
You certainly do, and don't say it, because I know you're thinking it. Don't say it.
What am I thinking?
You know what I know what you're thinking. Well, if he'd had hands, he'd be playing on offense.
That's true. You've said that before. The offense for the AFC set to go now. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately... go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together. And how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each. Game to get extra information, and the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
So through 3 quarters of the John Madden Legacy game, back now here on EA Sports. Couple of first downs to kick off the drive. Here's 1st and 10 up at the 46. Brady. That's complete to the fullback, Ricard. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you talk about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when you use words like boom and pow. He helped create the old Madden team. He's a very popular commercial pitchman. And even the Madden cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
Brady's incompletion on first down leads to a 2nd and 10. He'll look to throw. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for, and it's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, offensively, this has been a tough day for him. Trying to find a place to throw the football. It's been extremely difficult. I've got to give a lot of credit to the secondary, especially the corners who've had the receivers on lockdown.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. So, CD, you look at the accumulation of John Madden's achievements in the world of football, the coaching success, the Super Bowl title, the incredible career as a broadcaster with 12 Emmy Awards, Madden, the video game. It was very fitting back in 2006 that John Madden got the call to be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A more deserving person you will not find. He gave an incredible speech on that day, Brandon. So many of his former Raider players were in attendance. He talked about how he envisioned that when the last person turns off the lights in the hall every night, that the Buffs talk football amongst themselves. And what a discussion that might be.
Yeah, he finished his speech by saying, "Today feels like the second time in my life that I'm being carried off on the shoulders of others. Yet instead of off the field, it's into the Hall of Fame. This has been the sweetest ride of them all." Now a carry for Allen. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. So 2 minutes remain in the John Madden legacy game. The NFC trying to hold on. And we're back to Oakland after this. Ball at the 14 for 2nd and 5. Now Allen. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. Only way to get the lead here, of course, with a touchdown. And that's what they're gunning for on 1st and goal. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. Here's Allen. And he will push his way forward down to about the 3-yard line. A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play. And oh, it'll be intercepted. Picked off by Deion Sanders. And nothing but daylight ahead. He's at the 40, past the 20. And he's going to bring this one back for an NFC touchdown. And so much for the game-winning 2-minute drive. I think that interception return there pretty much seals the deal.
And one thing to keep in mind, in this situation with the score that close, defense isn't backing off and just giving you easy throws. They're playing aggressively as well, and they end up picking that one off and sealing the deal for themselves.
Anderson on for the extra point. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick six. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. No run back here for Hall, and this will come out to the 25. The AFC offense set to take their next drive. They might be thinking this is close to a lost cause here. Got to play it out. What do they need to do?
Well, they have a thought process in mind already, but they can't get ahead of themselves. They know that they need to score quickly.
Yeah, 2-score game.
Onside kick and get the ball back and then score again, but they can't worry about the last 2 points. The only thing...
He's got a man complete. And he takes this one into the end zone, and all of a sudden, here in the final minute, things get a little bit tighter. Vinatieri connecting on the extra point. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. So with just under 40 seconds to go, you figure this is going to need to bounce their way if they have any shot. And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. Fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
Got a man, it's Jerry Rice. Now the AFC going to use the first of their timeouts as they get it with just 19 seconds left on the clock. That one looks like he'll throw here. He'll buy some time right. It's caught by Sanders. Now a final chance to stop it here as a timeout comes in with 10 seconds left in the game. And they go play action with Favre. They'll roll him out right. That's going to be caught. And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. It's first and goal and a late touchdown at this stage. Could officially salt this one away. Now Favre. And this is caught. And that could seal it. It's a touchdown. There was no going through the progressions on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, nor was it necessary. His receiver won that route early, presented himself. No reason to wait. Go ahead and put it on him and score a touchdown.
They'll try and throw for it. And this one's caught. And their fourth quarter lead grows by a couple more. So they elect to pass there on the two-point try. Sometimes can prove risky there at work down.
Yeah, and I love how you bring up that it can prove risky, because if you get it intercepted and they return it, that's 2 points for the defense, but not on that play.
Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. And Hall going to bring this one out. The offense for the AFC set to go now. This is just an exercise in futility. Do you even bother running a play here offensively?
I wouldn't, because now is not going to erase what's happened during the game.
And this is intercepted, and that should do it. And he's going to bring this one back for an NFC touchdown. Well, this defense just continuing to do their thing, and now they add on to that lead with another pick six.
And how about the way they've played this entire game? Not only they put their stamp on it, but every time they try and mount an offensive challenge, they find a way to thwart it. And multiple pick sixes.
So it's a win here for the NFC. Just an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. And before we go, one final message. And for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.
I just say this, I thank you all very much. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.